Okay, hi, Dimitar here, Senior Software Engineer and Tech Lead. I'm going to teach you the very basics of programming now. And please don't freak out if you're a complete beginner. This might not make much sense to you, but don't freak out. Bear with me. And this is not a video for people with short attention spans. Um, to learn to program, you need focus and discipline, and you're going to have to suffer, at least for a little bit, because there is no progress without suffering. So if you're not ready to suffer a little bit, then this is not for you. So if you look up videos on YouTube about how to program, you will see a lot of different opinions and people suggesting, okay, if you want to become a web developer, do this. If you want to become a mobile developer, do this. If you want to make games, do this. If you want to learn AI, do that, you know. But these are not the fundamentals. So if we go back to first principles, the very first thing you need to know is the building block of a program. This is regardless of language, regardless of framework, doesn't matter what you want to become. Programming, the building block of programming is called a variable. So if you want to become a programmer, you sure as hell need to know what variables are. And to put this simply, don't freak out. This hash sign here, this is just a comment in the code. Okay? This is a comment in the code. So, what is a variable? A variable is a container for information. It could be simple information, could be complicated information, but a container nonetheless. So let me demonstrate. By the way, I've chosen Python for this example. This is denoted by the .py extension. When you see a .py extension, you know it's a Python file. And the program I'm using to write the code, because as a programmer, you're going to need something to write the code in. And the program I've chosen and the one I use at work and for my personal projects is called Visual Studio Code. It's a free program. You can go ahead right now and download it. It's super simple. Just install it on your computer. Doesn't matter if it's a MacBook or a Windows machine, Linux, doesn't matter. It's going to work anywhere. It's free, and it's probably the best code editor out there. So, back to basics. Let me demonstrate what a variable is. So, x equals 5. We just created our first variable. And x equals 5 means that the variable called x, you see it even hints that it's a variable. That the variable called x is equal to 5. Well, this seems pretty simple. We can create another variable. For example, apples equals 6. And I think you're noticing a pattern here. So the left part of the assignment here, of the equals sign, is the variable's name. So in both cases, we have a number. So x is equal to 5, apples is equal to 6. And this brings me to the next piece of information that is very crucial. There are a couple of types of information that you can have in programming. You can have numbers. And as I said, for example, y equals 5.5, z equals 6. Okay, these are all numbers. You can have text, which is name, for example, John Smith. And here is something important. It doesn't matter what your programming language is. In most programming languages, you will see these quotes here to denote text. So Whenever you see quotes, it means it's text, basically. And whatever you can put whatever you want in here, okay? Some languages use double quotes. In Python, you can use um, single quotes and double quotes, okay? So it's nothing fancy. So far, we have numbers and text. Here's the third type. Yes, no. And let's call this variable is it true? True. So you will notice this is a little bit of a different color. It's because this is a keyword, true. Each language has its own version of true. Most languages have either Python has a true with a capital letter. Other languages have just true with a lowercase letter for T. This means like 0 or 1, true, false, on, off. And you can see how this is very useful because maybe you want to check something. Okay, is this true? Yes. Okay, good. Then do this, right? We can and the other one, is it uh, false? No, it's not false. So it's a double negative. It's true. So let me just, is the Earth flat? Okay. Is the Earth flat? Well, false. It's not flat. Or yeah. So I think this gives you a basic idea of true, false. This is the third type of um, variable you can have. So the reason I've chosen Python for this example is because in other languages, um, you have you could have the variable name before that. For example, let me show you. In C sharp, which is another programming language, you can have int is it true is true, right? And you notice it's a little bit more difficult. The syntax, the way I'm writing this, is a little bit more difficult, but the general idea is the same. Um, this one, is it true equals true, and this one, they're the same thing. It's just it's written in a different language. That's why I don't want you to worry about languages. I want you to worry about understanding. And once you have the understanding, then it's much easier to learn any programming language. For example, myself, I have over 10 years experience, and the language doesn't matter to me because even if I've never seen it, I know the basics, I know the concepts, so I can grasp it in a couple of days. The language is not the problem, understanding is the problem. So let's get back to Python. Um, I'm a little bit hesitant to add the fourth type because it's not really a type. So you will notice here we have three types, and believe it or not, this is absolutely everything you need to build programs. In terms of variables, this is everything you need to know. These are the building blocks. You cannot simplify this further in modern programming languages. You have numbers, could be a decimal number like this with a decimal place here. Could be an integer, or an integer means a full number, like it's not a floating point number. Could be text, A equals A. Don't confuse it. A to the left is the name of the variable, or I could have called it the letter A is equals A. So you have numbers, you have text, and then you have yes, no. And with this knowledge, these are the building blocks, these are the bricks upon which you will build. And I think you agree with me. It's not that complicated, um, but you use this to build real programs. From the simple programs, maybe printing something on the screen, to building much more complex stuff. Even sending a rocket to the moon is going to use variables. So Let me demonstrate now. Don't freak out. I'm going to pull up a terminal, as it's called, and I'm going to run this program now. So let's see where we are. Don't worry about this. I'm just navigating to the where this file lives. You see, the file name is on the desktop. So if I run this program now, 1.py, nothing happens, and that's because um, well, we're not doing anything. We're just assigning some values to variables. So maybe let's print, and don't freak out. Print is just a way to write to the screen, and it's called a function. But I'm going to talk about functions in a separate video. But for now, let's print the name. Okay? Print, please print the name. Please show me the name. If I run the program again, oh wow, it says John Smith here. Okay. The reason I'm using this as an example is because it's simple. Python is probably the simplest language to run. I could have used JavaScript, which also runs in the browser in Chrome, and that would have been maybe easier to demonstrate, but I just wanted to give you a taste of the a real programming environment. So I hope if you're a complete beginner, I hope this made sense to you. This video I had specifically in mind just for you, for complete beginners who have no idea how to program. I hope this is useful, and if not, just shoot me a comment and I'll explain that to you. No worries. Okay? I'll see you in the next one.